Welcome to Joe Marquis Wagers. I am Joe Marquis. Today is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Vannon. This video is a summary of the NFL Week 13 slate of games, including my wagers on those games. Before I get started, though, I wanted to put in a request for anyone watching this who has not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel to please do so. I would love to start making money from this, but one of the first requirements from YouTube is to have over 500 subscribers. I still have a long way to go as I am sitting at just 19. I made 42 wagers in week 13 and I went 21 and 21. It's not good. It's not bad either. The crazy thing is if I could have just gotten 3 of those 21 losses and got them correct, I would have been 24 and 18, and that would have been a 57% winning percentage. I'm so close. Since I started doing this in week 7, I have a 54% winning percentage. So I still need to get a little bit better and a little more consistent. With that in mind, I decided to dig into the numbers a little bit more. For those of you who don't know me very well, I'm a little anal retentive. When I started my YouTube channel, I knew I needed to do a better job of tracking my performance than when I was just wagering on my own. And the best way for me to do that was to start tracking my wagers in an Excel spreadsheet, since I have that goal of winning 57% of the time. So when I was reviewing my performance for this video, I wondered if there were certain teams that I had better luck with or at least a better handle on. So I broke down all of my wagers over these last 7 weeks by team. It took me a couple hours to set it up, but adding to it each week will only take me a couple of minutes now. The most interesting thing that I found is that I have 9 teams where I win 67% of the time or more, and I have 9 teams where I lose 67% of the time or more, and the other 14 are just hovering around average. Sounds like a perfect bell curve to me. When I'm trying to decide whether or not to place a wager going forward, it may be helpful for me to look and see if it's a team that I have a good read on or not. Hopefully this information will help me improve my winning percentage. This was by far the most wagers I've ever done in a single week. 42 is a lot. I'm not going to go over every single one because I don't want this video to be an hour long. So I'm just going to hit some of the big points, or at least some of the more interesting ones. I lost both of the Thielen receiving props in that Panthers-Bucks game. I went back and looked, and I lost both Thielen props way back in week 9, which was the last time I'd played them. He was just so hot in the first 8 weeks. I'm not sure what's going on now, but I'm going to have to stay away from them for a while until I see a significant change. Now, while the Panthers didn't win after firing their head coach, they did manage to cover the spread, which was my lone win on the Panthers this week. Looks like I'm hitting about 50% on my Panthers props for the season. I did get the Rachaad White props for Tampa Bay right, though, so I'm glad I switched from his receiving props to his rushing props and then his combined yards. So I'm 63% on Tampa wagers for the season, so expect to see a few more of those going forward. Now, I expected the Niners to beat the Eagles. I just didn't expect them to blow them out in Philly. The spread was the only wager I missed on for this game, and it was a costly one. I had teased the Eagles with the Dolphins, thinking there was no way the Eagles would lose by more than 9. And the teasers had been good to me, but the last 2 weeks I'm only hitting 50% on them. So definitely have to start making sure I do a better job with those. So funny enough, on this game, I went 4-1 on my wagers for this game, and I would have rather gone 1-4 and had this teaser hit because I had a lot more money on it. You can tell when I looked at the numbers that I'm a Seahawks fan and that I follow the NFC West more closely than the other divisions. I have not lost a Niners prop bet yet, and I have won 75% of my Cardinal wagers. I made 4 wagers on the Dolphins-Commanders game and only went 1-3. The only one I got right was the Dolphins team total. I missed on the Waddle receiving yards prop as well as both of the Howell passing props. I think I'm just going to have to rethink the Dolphins defensively. Now that Ramsey is back and healthy, the defense has only given up 15, 13, and 13 points in their last 3 games. Plus, the Dolphins run the ball more than people think, and that just controls the time of possession, limits the other team's opportunities. So, gonna have to think about that a little bit more. Like maybe these teams they're playing, I shouldn't expect them to get as many points or as many yards as what I had been thinking. And apparently, I need to stay away from the Commander props, as I have only won 25% of them so far. I probably owe Joe Flacco an apology. That game was a lot closer than that final score made it look. The Rams scored twice late to kind of run it up at the end. But going into the fourth quarter, that was anybody's game. Flacco threw for 254 yards in that game. His ability to throw the ball and get rid of it quickly to avoid sacks went against the game script I had expected on this one. So I went 0 for 3 on my Cleveland wagers. And this is another team I might need to avoid, as I've only won 25% of my wagers on them for the season. Monday Night Football, I went 5 and 3, and if it hadn't gone to overtime, I would have gone 6 and 2. Mixon didn't exceed his rush attempts prop until they went to overtime. Still not bad, considering I didn't have the game script right on this one either. I missed on the ETN rushing props, as the Jags never had a comfortable lead in this one like I expected them to. And Browning played way better than expected. Now the question becomes whether or not is it sustainable. I mean, now that there are 2 games of film on him, will the defenses be able to shut him down? I don't know. They play the Colts and the Vikings next, and neither is known for their defensive prowess. So the Bengals might be able to stay competitive in these next 2 games. And then after that, I think they play the Steelers, another team with good defense. So we'll kind of have to see how these next 2 go, but I think he'll do okay in those. My next video will be on Thursday to preview the Thursday night matchup between the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Want to do a quick shout out to Aunt Bev, who signed up with DraftKings this last week and went 4-0 with her first 4 wagers. Nice job. That was a bold move, taking the Bengals on the money line, but I am sure it paid nicely. Also, shout out to Weston, who just completed his Air Force boot camp this last week. Proud of you, and thanks for your service. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Joe Marquis Wagers, and you will see me again on Thursday.